It's a new year, a new season, and we are underway.
Really dominating fashion here today is going to win.
They're 3-4 for the final time.
Win number 1 on the season, only just barely.
He is going to win here at the Neuwirth Speedway.
Wins the Emerson Electric 100K.
Gonna be Igor Barretto's gonna eke it out.
Cup Series champion is Shane Lake in the number 15.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
The new morning arrives. The greatest are already here. Their sensory is high. They know their time is near. What does it take to make a champion? Does it come without trying? Is it a fault that the greatest can dampen to move forward when others are striving?
Mr. Ridge, you know he's got it. His second Indianapolis 250 race victory. Nicholas Samadio has done it again. You can't stop him.
While the rest are watching from the shadows, 33 have taken the pledge. All of them chasing on this ground that is hollow, chasing the feeling, chasing the edge. The 2021 Indianapolis 250 begins now. It has been a long week here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway leading up to this one big moment, and it is surely the biggest moment in the NOFSRL, the longest race of the season, the longest race in the NOFSRL, and the most coveted race to win. We are here at the world's greatest racetrack. It's the spectacle of racing in the NOFSRL, the Indianapolis 250 in 2021 of the Haas IndyCar Series. Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 1 in the 2021 Haas IndyCar Series season, the Indianapolis 250, and all the festivities have been leading up to this one moment, this 100-lap race around this 2.5-mile speedway in Speedway, Indiana. And today we will make history once again and crown another Indianapolis 250 champion. If there is any one race for any of these drivers to win, this is the race to win. This is the race that you will be remembered winning. And just ask our last winner of this race, Nicholas Samadio, who went on to win this Indianapolis 250 last year on fuel mileage, but he still managed to get his second Indianapolis 250. And if he happens to win here today, it'll be his third Indy 250, and he would become the all-time winningest driver on Napa Fan. Another driver who's definitely looking to get another Indianapolis 250 race victory is the driver starting alongside him, Baranauskas, who won this race on fuel mileage as well in 2019. She's going to get her third IndyCar victory here today and stake her name as a legend of this great race. And farther back in the field, the 2017 winner of this race has not won in the Haas IndyCar Series since he won this event 4 years ago. Luke Rainey looking to get his second Indianapolis 250 victory here today. But there are 30 other drivers looking to get there first, and I'm joined alongside Josh Williamson for the call of today's great event. And Josh, anyone can truly win this race here today, but what will it take for any of these drivers to go to victory lane in this 100-lap race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
You gotta be patient going through this field. There's gonna be a lot of shuffling around, so you gotta be careful too. But you don't necessarily want to get up front straight away. It is a long race, and there could be a lot of resets as far as the green flag racing goes. We could have several caution breaks in this race. Of course, it is Indianapolis, so that possibility is there. But I don't know. You don't really want to wait around too much either to get up to the front, because after about 5 or 6 laps of the green flag run, it'll start to become extremely difficult to overtake, really, for the lead, unless you're within the top 5 positions, because they might tend to get a little bit spread out here. But well, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens here. There's going to be a very competitive one for sure, as it always is here in the Indianapolis 250. I'm ready to get it started.
Yeah, so we're going to get these cars to roll up here very shortly. Of course, yesterday we had Carb Day practice, and we also had practice on Friday, and one of the more consistent drivers in those 2 practice sessions was Max Anderson. Now, of course, in single-car runs, Max Anderson didn't get the best of starts. He'll be starting midway through the field here today, but that may be a good sign. Those guys who were very fast in the practice session running in the draft may have the advantage in today's event. Of course, it's a 100-lap race. There will be a need for at least 2 pit stops in today's event, as the fuel window is 40 laps. Last year, the caution came out around lap 60, and we ended up with a fuel mileage race in the event. However, last year we only had 2 yellow flags, the lowest amount of cautions in this race, tied, I should say, with the 2016 Indianapolis 250. So we'll have to see. We have seen upwards of 5 cautions in this race before, at least in the 250-mile era. The 200-mile races, that was a long time ago, and we did things a little bit differently back then. But who knows? It could be a wreckfest, it could be a race of attrition, but it could be an all-out brawl to the end in terms of racing this racetrack. And we saw last night in the Coca-Cola 600 in the NOFSRL Cup Series, we had the 1 wreck at the beginning. The rest of the race went green the whole way through, and if that happens here today, truly the fastest driver is going to win this race. If you saw qualifying on Saturday and Sunday, you saw that Al Lagasse was the fastest driver in both qualifying sessions, in single-car qualifying on Saturday, and then, of course, in the Fast 9 on Sunday to win the pole. And Josh, starting on the pole means a lot here in Indianapolis. What are the odds you give Al Lagasse at possibly going to victory lane and getting the biggest win of his career?
Well, first, let me ask you: has anybody ever won this race from the pole position?
I do not believe anybody has. But last year, Nicholas Samadio won this race from the 7th position. So drivers tend to want to start up front here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I would suppose so. But I'll say this now: the Indianapolis 200 on my end of things in the CarQuest Indy Racing League, the winner started way deep in the field, almost last. So. It really depends on the track conditions, I think. That was a sunny race like this one, but as you said, well, it was a different version of Indianapolis too. But Al Lagasse, he's had a fast car all week. Could he get up front? If he stays up front on the start, I should say, would he be able to hold these guys off for a few laps? I wouldn't put it past him. Al Lagasse's a solid driver. I would not put it past him at all.
And last year we saw drivers, especially near the end of these runs when the tire wear started to come into effect, dominate this race. We could easily see that here today, especially considering that it's another sunny day here in Indianapolis, which means the track is going to be slick. And it's going to be a little bit harder to make passes, but we're still going to see a lot of them, probably a lot more than what we saw yesterday in the Freedom 50. Of course, the top 10 drivers received championship points in the Haas IndyCar Series, so Al Lagasse received 10 bonus points towards the championship for winning the pole. Ben Young alongside him will receive 9 points, Alphabet with 8, and so on, all the way to Noah Clifton, who will receive 1 point towards the championship. We're ready to get this race started here. 33 drivers, 100 laps, and at least 2 pit stops until the conclusion of today's event. What will today bring? We will have to find out, but first, let's go through the starting lineup in the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250. Starting 33rd in the number 6 in his 4th Indianapolis 250, Ace Garcia. Starting 32nd in the number 23 in his first Indianapolis 250, Trey Smith. Starting 31st in the number 20, the 2017 Haas IndyCar Series champion and Indianapolis 250 winner, Luke Rainey. Starting 30th in the number 63, his 5th Indianapolis 250, Hairgel Arvin Alonso. Starting 29th in the number 37, his 4th Indianapolis 250, Igor Barretto. Starting in the 28th position in the number 53, the 2019 Haas IndyCar Series champion, driving in his 4th Indianapolis 250, Justin Zaidel. Starting in the 27th position in the number 52, in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Ryan Durrani. Starting 26th in the number 12 in his first ever Indianapolis 250, Ethan Lewis. Starting in the 25th position in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Owen Miles. Starting 25th in the number 27, starting in his 4th Indianapolis 250, John Andrews. Starting in the 23rd position, driving the number 51 in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Mitchell Henderson. Starting in the 22nd position in his first ever Indianapolis 250, the number 44 of Braden Perez. Starting 21st in the number 8 in his 5th Indianapolis 250, Jordan Lopez. Starting in the 20th position, driving the number 62 in his 4th Indianapolis 250, Max Anderson. Starting 19th in the number 89 in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Christian Vargas. Starting 18th in the number 38 in her 2nd Indianapolis 250, Madison Tall. Starting in the 17th position, driving the number 18, his first running in the Indianapolis 250, Derrick Hamill. Starting in the 16th position, driving the number 69 in his rookie season of the Indianapolis 250, Logan Williams. Starting 15th in the number 4 in his first running of the Indianapolis 250, Will Parrish. Starting in the 14th position in his 6th Indianapolis 250, Davey Johnson. Starting in the 13th position in his first ever running of the Indianapolis 250, the number 48 of Nathan Smith. Starting 12th in the number 55, his first ever running in the Indianapolis 250, Roberto Crown Jr. Starting 11th in his 4th Indianapolis 250, driving the number 79, Matt Tuck. Starting 10th in the number 16, driving in his 5th Indianapolis 250, Noah Clifton. Starting 9th in the number 99, winner of the Steak and Shake 250, back on Monday. Starting in his first Indianapolis 250, Dustin Davis. Starting 8th in the number 2, the 2019 Indianapolis 250 champion, Audra Baranauskas. Starting 7th in the number 9, the two-time Indianapolis 250 champion from 2018 and 2020, Nicholas Samadio. Starting in the 6th position, driving the number 21 in his 3rd Indianapolis 250, Thomas Troxel. Starting 5th in the number 77 in his 2nd running of the Indianapolis 250, Brandon Nelson. Starting 4th in the number 11, his first running of the Indianapolis 250, Chase Buck. Starting 3rd in the number 88, his 2nd running of the Indianapolis 250, Christopher Alphaby. Starting on the outside pole in the number 54 in his first running of the Indianapolis 250, Ben Young. And starting on the pole, your Indianapolis 250 pole sitter, driving the number 98, his 4th running of the Indianapolis 250, Al Lagasse. And that is the 33-car field in this year's Indianapolis 250. As we mentioned, now Legacy will be leading us to the green flag in this great race, and we're going to have to see what he can do from that pole position. Everybody is rolling off, and Josh, it's a long day, a lot of solid drivers in the field. Who do you think will be going to victory lane and kissing the bricks here in this year's Indianapolis 250?
Well, in the last couple times I've been in the booth, I got Luke Rainey winning the Wawa 200 at Dover, and I got Dustin Davis winning the Steak and Shake 250. Well, I don't feel brave enough with this pick, but I think I'm gonna go with Matt Tuck in car number 79, starting in 11th right there in the Hers colors. I think he could be a favorite going to victory lane here in the Indianapolis 250.
He is going to be running in his 4th running of this race, so this is going to be interesting to see what he can do in the car that won the championship last year when Chase Harris drove this ride. Matt Tuck, an experienced veteran, has not won a race on Epiphan since the middle of 2018, almost 3 years ago. The drivers who have failed to qualify for this race include Mitchell Collins, Caleb Rose, and veteran Marty Johnson. Definitely the biggest name missing this race, but they will attempt to qualify again in 2 weeks from the Texas Motor Speedway. The field will spread out as they enter turn number 3, and now Legacy and Ben Young will be leading us to the green flag for this 100-lap race from the Brickyard. Any of these 33 drivers can win this race here today, but only one of them will. And that one driver will make history here today in the biggest race of the NOFSRL. It's been a long week. It's all been leading up to this race and this moment. But we're going to be here for a while in the longest race of the NOFSRL and the opening race of the 2021 Haas IndyCar Series season. The field rolls down to the yard of bricks. Al Legacy and Ben Young are ready to go, and we are underway in the 2021 Indianapolis 250. Alphabet takes the race lead from Al Legacy. Legacy will lead lap number 1 already. Thomas Troxel looking 3 wide for the 2nd position, but he's not going to get it. Brandon Nelson up to 2nd as he gets around Al Legacy.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to try 3 wide here, really at Indianapolis, period, but especially here in the opening laps when everyone is as close as they are right now. But hey, here comes that 77 back there in behind the 98 of Al Legacy. The 77 Brandon Nelson
leading the field, and Brandon Nelson right behind him. Thomas Troxel and Nicholas Samadio 1-2 last year. They're both inside the top 5 now. And Samadio working that inside lane as already someone has had an issue. Someone blew up. That, I believe, maybe Dustin Davis. On the 2nd lap of the race, that's going to split the field up, and look at the side. That is, in fact, Dustin Davis, who won the Turkey Hill National Series race here on Monday. His day will end very early on here in this year's Indy 250. What a heartbreaker for the driver who started in the 9th position. As for the race lead, Brandon Nelson to the inside of Alphabet. He's going to lead lap number 3. Here comes Thomas Troxel, and here comes Matt Tuck. And Nicholas Samadio tried to get on the inside there of Nathan Smith, but he could not hold it on. But now look at what we got here in this Indianapolis 250. All these guys who got stuck behind Dustin Davis are quite a ways back from the lead pack.
Yeah, they're going to need a caution if they want to catch back up to them, or just a long green flag run to get in the draft, get single file, draft back up. But I don't even think they'll be able to utilize that. They probably do need a caution, as Matt Tuck has gone to the race lead there. As on the inside, I believe that's the 88, Christopher Alphaby, going into the second position. He's bringing the number 77 of Nelson back with him on the inside, bringing the 48 of Nathan Smith in behind. He's going to migrate up to the top side. And I think that's Samadio who's going to take a look down low on that 48.
That's actually Roberto Crown Jr. there on the 55 machine. Samadio in the 9 machine stuck in that outside lane. You got Davey Johnson, Will Parrish in this lead pack. One of the Williams, that's the 89 of Christian Vargas there on the inside. And then the 18 of Derrick Hamill still in this lead pack. So a lot of solid drivers still in this lead pack. But a lot of guys who are definitely off the pace at this point. However, like you said, if they get a caution, they'll be able to get right back up there and have a shot at this race victory. It's still very early on in this Indianapolis 250, but one driver will definitely not be winning this race, and that will be Dustin Davis in the 99. How about Crown Jr.? 55 to the inside for second on Brandon Nelson, bringing Will Parrish with him, and here comes Davey Johnson, who has considerably been one of the fastest guys throughout all the practice sessions, considerably every year. But he's never really done too well in the race before. But here he is inside the top 5 with Vargas behind him. Christian Vargas was runner-up in this race in 2019 when he just barely lost out to Igor Barretto. So watch out for Vargas. He has definitely shown strength in this race before. He could show even more strength here today. But Matt Tuck currently pacing this field in the number 79 for second. Will Parrish looking on Roberto Crown Jr. But they are not going to get side by side quite yet, as Roberto Crown Jr. going to get that run in the outside lane as he closes in on Matt Tuck for the race lead.
He could close in there at the end of these straightaways. I'd say maybe by the time he gets to turn 4, Tuck split up. Crown's going to take a look. Not going to get down there just yet, or will he? No, not quite yet. Tuck's going to hold on to it for now, but Crown could have a draft going down this front straightaway here. Parrish could go with him on the inside. They could freight train around. Nope, Parrish is going to go underneath Crown. He's going to bring the 89 of Christian Vargas with him down low, bringing Hamill with him behind. Put Parrish in the second position, and don't look now. Here comes the Red Bull colors of Davey Johnson as he moves up to the top side. That may have been a big mistake there.
Alphaby going to make a move on him right there, and then you see Madison Toll as well moving on this inside. Of course, Madison Toll in 2019 ran up front in this race, but unfortunately wrecked out. She has a great opportunity at getting some redemption here today. As for the race lead, Will Parrish has closed up on Matt Tuck. Now, yesterday in the Freedom 50, once Landon Smith Jr. took the race lead with 14 laps to go, he never looked back. We have 100 laps here today, and these Indy cars are a lot faster. Well, they're not faster, I should say, but they have a lot more downforce, and they are much better able to pass than the Indy Lights machines are. So we will see a lot more passing in today's race in terms of the whole race compared to what we saw yesterday in the Freedom 50 as Will Parrish goes to the inside of Matt Tuck for the race lead. Here comes Vargas, here comes Derrick Hamill on the inside. Then it's Alphaby and Davey Johnson in behind with Madison Toll and Thomas Troxel inside this top 10. A lot of very strong drivers up front in this race right now, and a lot of guys who could easily win this race here today, especially considering that second pack is a little ways off. You got Jordan Lopez all by himself, 3.5 seconds behind, and then you got the second pack led by John Andrews, currently about 5.5 seconds behind. They're not that far off, but I don't think they're gaining any time on the leaders the way they are currently running. Look at this mess right here. All double wide throughout a majority of the lead pack as Will Parrish looks to lead at the 10th way mark of the Indianapolis 250.
I'm honestly surprised that the double file in the lead group has existed as long as it has now in this race. I thought that we have a little bit more than a 3-car stretch up front. As to the inside, here comes Tamlon Parrish, and he's going to bring a Red Bull with him there, the 33 Davey Johnson in behind the 18 of Hamill, and looks like he's going to get the push to the race lead. I doubt heavily that the 33 is going to look to the inside in turn 3, or well, he looked, but he didn't quite make the move, did he? That was probably the brave thing to do. It's probably the smart thing to do, was not to quite make the move there, because that could have been a big crash.
It definitely could have been. You go 3 wide at any point here in Indianapolis, and that's essentially a guaranteed wreck. A lot like how it is when we go to Daytona in the Cup Series or in the National Series, and they go 4 wide over there. But, that was a little edgy right there. That could have been a 3 wide situation with Vargas there in the 89, and Nathan Smith will perish. Thomas Troxel moving up in the 21 machine. He's been running strong in this race. Of course, Davey Johnson running very strong here today as well in this 33 machine, but they're led by Derrick Hamill. His first ever start in the Haas IndyCar Series. He ran his debut on nap of him was in the USF 2000 Series all the way back in 2017, but he hasn't essentially raced open wheel since then. But here he is with an opportunity at winning this great race, but Davey Johnson would love to get a lap led in this Indianapolis 250. He knows he's got a huge opportunity in this 6th start of this event, but he is going to now be passed by Thomas Troxel, who gets a run on the 33 machine, and we're double wide for the race lead on lap 13.
It's kind of singled out in the middle of the group there as opposed to what it was before. It's double file at the beginning and the end of the field as opposed to the beginning stretch away of everyone else. But meanwhile, Troxel is going to take the lead on the inside of Johnson there. And don't look now, here comes the 48, Nathan Smith. He's got a quick set of wheels on that Dallara coming down the front straightaway. He'll settle in the 4th position for now, but I think he might get around Parrish going off into turn 1, and yeah, he will with relative ease. And for the race lead, here comes Johnson.
Davey Johnson not going to let Troxel have that easy. He's going to move back to the inside for the top position. Now, if this race stays green, and keep in mind, we went green for a very long time in last year's event, I think up until lap 60 until we had our first yellow flag. If this race stays green, the winner of this race is going to come from this lead pack, no doubt about it, because if you look at the standings right there, Jordan Lopez has actually kind of fallen in the clutches of this second pack now. Of course, he's been running all by himself, and the draft is very significant here in these open wheel machines in Indianapolis, but the rest of the field have fallen back to about 6 seconds off the lead pack. So definitely going to be interesting to see if they ever get an opportunity to go to the front. Nathan Smith, Christian Vargas have now gone and cycled to the front 2 positions. Here comes Ben Young, the outside pole sitter. We've really yet to see him run up front in this race, and same kind of goes for Al Icy outside of that first lap that he led, but they are moving back up through this field on that inside lane. Here comes the 11 of Chase Buck as well, who started 4th in this race.
Oh, Young's going to take a look to the inside coming out of turn number 4. Like, everyone's minding their P's and Q's so far early on in this race. It's been a lot of double file, but no one has really tried to go 3 wide yet, and that is good because we have more time under green flag laps, and that's great because this is some fantastic racing that's going on here in the early laps at Indianapolis. Just about a 5th of a way through this race as Ben Young has gone back to the race lead. Tuck's going to look on the inside.
That was a close one there.
That was a close one there, yeah, it was.
Yeah, him and Chase Buck there, but Matt Tuck definitely looking like one of the stronger drivers in this race as he gets back to the lead. And Davey Johnson was able to find a way back to that inside as well with Troxel right behind him. Here comes Audrey Baranauskas. First time we've seen her kind of run up front in this race, at least inside the top 10. But obviously Baranauskas, a former winner of this event, definitely one to watch out for as this race goes along. Now, you know, essentially right now, they keep on cycling through, but if we stay green through that first cycle of green flag pit stops, which would be around lap 40, then that's when we're really going to see who's going to be strong in this race, because that's when the pack really splits up. That's when the race really gets interesting. But Matt Tuck making it interesting on Ben Young as he goes back to the point. Davey Johnson, Thomas Troxel on this inside lane, and we continue to cycle through up front. Meanwhile, the second pack actually has closed in a bit. They're about 5.2 seconds off now, and as you can see, they're going more single file right now, and that is definitely a good sign for these guys. If they can keep it going single file, they'll definitely be able to eventually close in on that lead pack and form this whole pack back up again. But they got to stay single file, and these guys tend to not be too disciplined when it comes to single file racing at Indianapolis. I mean, just look at this lead pack right now. That's mainly why they're losing all that time to the guys behind them. They will go single file to the top 5, though. As Matt Tuck, Davey Johnson, Audra Baranauskas up to 3rd, I should say. Then Will Parrish and Thomas Troxel, the top 5. Now you got Nathan Smith there, Ben Young in 7th. And now you have Brandon Nelson running in the 8th position with Samadio and Madison Toll rounding out the top 10. As for the race lead, Davey Johnson on Matt Tuck.
Well, the last time through here, I thought Parrish was going to turn that 21 of Troxel around. Got up really close to that left rear wheel. Thankfully he didn't. Are they going to try 3 wide? Please don't, guys.
They've been very good about 3 wide in the past couple of years of this race, I feel like. They tend not to do it as much as they used to, and that could have a lot to do with the range and the ratings that we have now for these guys. Audra Baranauskas to the inside of Davey Johnson for the race lead on lap number 20, but Will Parrish now going to get a run as well. And that second pack did lose some time there that last lap, so they've about stalled out about 5 seconds behind. Will Parrish going to take the race lead now. Thomas Troxel looking to the inside of Audra Baranauskas. You know, it's interesting, a guy can lead a few laps in a row, but then we can end up having a few lead changes in one lap, so it's all over the place with how consistent these guys are racing, but it's still some good stuff early on here in this Indianapolis 250. There you see Thomas Troxel looking to the inside, not going to quite get it yet on Will Parrish. Will Parrish will lead this lap right here. Nathan Smith, Ben Young, and Audra Baranauskas the top 5. There goes Troxel to the inside for the race lead, as we are a fifth of the way through the Indianapolis 250 in 2021.
What an opportunity for Nathan Smith there to pounce on the opportunity to get to second place there. Ben Young going to get right up in the thick of things there as well in car 54 and be pressed right against the backside of that 48, headed off into turn number 3.
Baranauskas going up in the Will Parrish, and Davey Johnson's going to take the 3 wide, and Baranauskas set into the inside wall, and then come back through the field. A vicious crash in turn 4. Johnson, Hamill, and Baranauskas majorly torn up, and somehow everybody in that second pack avoided it. But Baranauskas destroyed. Madison Toll with damage. Both of the ladies in the field with heavy contact. Al Agassi, our pole sitter, I don't know if he came down the pit lane to avoid. Derrick Hamill all torn up, and Davey Johnson lost a wheel and all that. Christopher Alphaby also down the pit lane in a massive accident on lap 21 in this year's Indianapolis 250. Nathan Smith is your race leader as he won the race back to the line.
Man, oh man, I know that happens at Indianapolis from time to time where they get that tight going off into the turns, whether it be between turn 1 and 2, turn 3 and 4. It's always in the short chutes where they don't even have to be 3 wide for that to happen. Sometimes it can happen if they're just side by side, one washes up into another, and that was just an unfortunate set of circumstances. Vicious accident turn 3 and 4, and that's unfortunately going to take a lot of really strong contenders out of the race. Most notably, I would say the 33 of Davey Johnson, who was running up towards the front of this field almost all race long, and going to be out early here at Indianapolis as the field comes down the pit road.
Yeah, the 2019 winner Audra Baranauskas also got caught up in that as well. Those are 2 major players in this race. So Baranauskas, she will not win this year's Indianapolis 250. Neither will Madison Toll. That's a tough break for Toll. She's got some wing damage, but I don't know if she's going to be able to fix that. She's already a lap down. And Derrick Hamill as well in the 18 machine also caught up. And you see Davey Johnson, Christopher Alphaby, and the 2 of Audra Baranauskas. And Al Agassi came down the pit lane to avoid. And I don't know if Agassi will get back out there. We'll have to see how it all cycles through once we're done. But of course, everyone going to get 4 tires and fuel right here. It will still be a 2-stop race from this point, however. Or will it? Just pass. Again, you know, a very similar situation to last year. Now, we're still very early on in this race. But this puts them around lap 60. Maybe it's a little bit past lap 60, and that could make it a little bit interesting for the end of this race. I mean, we have a 40-lap fuel run here. That's a long time. Yet, this could end up being the 3rd straight year we ended with a fuel mileage race. Just like it was last year, just like it was in 2019. Now, 2019 was a bit more of a surprise. That came on the last turn. Last year played a little bit more naturally when everyone else was coming down right before, a couple laps before, and Samadio was able to stretch it. But either way, Nathan Smith wins the race off the pit lane. Ben Young, Thomas Troxel, Will Parrish, and Nicholas Samadio. Now, this is exactly, and I mean, all these guys in that second pack, they went flying through the scene of the accident, and I don't think any of them actually hit any of those guys, which was a miracle, to say at the least. But now, they're right back with the leaders, and they will be right with everybody else and have a shot at this race victory. So that was definitely what those guys needed to see. Ace Garcia is the last driver on the racetrack. We'll let these cars cycle through the start-finish line to see how many drivers on the lead lap, and then we will review the accident that brought out the first caution of the day in the 2021 Indianapolis 250, a major accident between Davey Johnson and Igor Barretto, collecting a couple of other drivers. But Nathan Smith, your race leader. And we mentioned Nathan Smith, a lot during practice and qualifying, how he was very strong at the end of last season when he filled in for one of the burner accounts. Well, he's definitely showing his strength here today. So Ace Garcia, last driver in line, 26th. So 26 drivers still in the race on the lead lap. Al Legacy in the number 98, our pole sitter, I believe, is out of the race. I do not see him on the racetrack anymore. And the number 98 has officially retired. A tough break for our pole sitter who got unfortunately caught up in that accident. So 26 drivers still left on the racetrack, but the good thing is none of them have damage, so they're all in contention for this race victory. However, a few guys do have damage after this violent accident on lap 21. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day in the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250. And the caution out here on lap number 21, it's Davey Johnson, and in these kind of situations, it's always more particularly the driver who's in the middle who kind of opens the door. But Davey Johnson took it when he probably shouldn't have, and as you can tell, that's Igor Barretto, Davey Johnson, two of the most experienced drivers in this series. Starting all this, Alpha B. Look at Logan Williams. Barely avoid all that. Derrick Hamill also caught up, and then Madison Toll had nowhere to go in the 38 as Alpha B came back up on her. It was only those 5 guys, thankfully. We had that second pack coming in. The good thing for those drivers in the second pack, they will be able to rejoin the rest of the field after that Dustin Davis incident. But that's a common crash here at Indianapolis, even in the stock cars sometimes. I don't think we really have seen many wrecks in the stock cars in recent years, I should say. But been a while since we've seen a wreck like that in the Indianapolis 250 as well, because last year we really didn't have much go on in this race in terms of wrecks. But tough break for all those guys involved. But it's just the name of the game, and unfortunately they will be done for the day here in the Indianapolis 250.
There's Baranauskas in the middle of 3 wide there, just wrong place, wrong time. It's the 33. Got to the inside there, turned her hard into the inside. That is as accident as you will ever see here at Indianapolis, and unfortunately a whole lot of others getting taken out in it. Goodness gracious. A violent start to the Indianapolis 250 after about 21, 22 laps or so of fantastic racing. It comes to an end here with the first caution of the race, and give everyone a chance to regroup and take a breath here after flying around at 220 miles per hour.
Yeah, they're going to come down the pit lane here as well. Of course, they already did, I should say. Nathan Smith going to be your race leader here. When we get back to racing with 76 laps to go. I think either 76 or 75 laps to go. We'll figure it out. When we come back here from the Indianapolis 250 here in the NOFSRL Haas IndyCar Series. We are back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250, the longest race of the season in the NOFSRL, and unfortunately it'll be cut short for a few drivers after that violent accident, mainly involving Davey Johnson and Igor Barretto, but Al Legacy out of the race. Our pole sitter will fail to finish here today, along with Christopher Alfeby, who started in the 3rd position. Baranauskas was another one of the Fast 9 drivers, and then Madison Toll, Derrick Hamill caught up as well. Of course, Dustin Davis, with an engine failure early on in this race, is also out. 26 drivers on the lead lap. The only 26 drivers still left in the field. They are led by Nathan Smith in the number 48, followed by Ben Young, Thomas Troxel, Will Parrish, Nicholas Samadio, last year's winner of this event, running 5th, Matt Tuck, Logan Williams. That is the 89 of Christian Vargas, Brandon Nelson, and the 53 of Justin Zeidel, rounding out the top 10. Mitchell Henderson just back there. Zeidel and Henderson were a couple of guys in that second pack who have now found themselves just around the top 10. So that wreck knocked out a lot of guys in that lead pack, so that definitely affected the outcome of this event. It will affect the outcome of this event, I should say, as we get to the finish. Here we go. We're ready to restart. A quarter of the way through the Indianapolis 250, and Nathan Smith, your race leader here at Indianapolis.
Let's see what kind of launch he gets here off this restart. If the 54 is able to close back in, it looks like he may have a little bit. I think Young got a better launch there off the restart, at least a little better than Nathan Smith did, because that gap is already shrinking. Young's going to be in the draft as soon as they get up to speed here down the back straightaway. We'll see if he could get around him, if not between turn 3 and 4, maybe headed off into turn number 1 this time. He could get some help with Troxel if he closes back in side by side back here with the 79 of Matt Tuck and I believe that's the 69 of Logan Williams. Meanwhile, up front, Young has caught Nathan Smith. See if he makes the move, headed off into 1. Doesn't look like he will.
Thomas Troxel right there as well. Young is right there behind the gearbox of Nathan Smith. As for 5th, Matt Tuck on Nicholas Samadio. That was tight.
That
they
was
were wheel to
brave.
wheel off the corner right there. Now the thing is, you may notice, here unlike anywhere else, they spread out a lot more, and especially on the restarts, I should say. And because of that, first couple laps after the restart are generally pretty calm, which is a good thing. We particularly don't want them to bunch up too crazy on the restarts, because obviously we saw what happened just a few laps ago. We don't want that to happen right after a restart. Here comes Thomas Troxel. He's got some help from Will Parrish to the inside of Ben Young for 2nd. Logan Williams has found a way around Matt Tuck, and Samadio is going to take opportunity of that as well. Here comes Brandon Nelson in the 77. Now, Nelson was one of the strong players in this race last year, and I'm sure he definitely would love to be a strong player once again this year. How about the Haas machines? Mitchell Henderson and Luke Rainey. Both of these drivers started deep in the field, but they have both found themselves 10th and 11th right now as they have gotten around Justin Zidell.
Oh, man, Samadio thought was going to get turned there by the 77. Thankfully, they've held on to it for now. Samadio might make a move on the 69 up there. Meanwhile, for the race lead, here comes Troxel with a big push from Parrish. Please don't go 3 wide, head off into 1. Nope, they're going to mind their P's and Q's. Troxel is going to take the lead away. Parrish may or may not get to the inside of that 21 as well. Yes, he will, coming out of turn number 2.
Will Parrish, Logan Williams. And Logan Williams is a fast driver, and definitely you got to watch out for, but so is this guy. He's yet to lead a lap, Nicholas Samadio, but I don't know. You don't want him up front in any of these big events, and the fact that he didn't get caught up in an accident might be a good sign that he may win this race here today. We're just going to have to find out and see, of course. But Will Parrish has been another strong guy, and he's a guy we really haven't talked too much about during Indy 250 week. Relatively new to Napa fan, made his debut on the Turkey Hill National Series at Homestead back in February. He has been doing an excellent job during Indy 250 week so far, and here he is with a huge opportunity at winning the biggest race of his career. Here comes Troxel back to the inside, though, and this is a guy who really has a chip on his shoulder from what happened last year. And I mean, really didn't lose the race, but he was one position short as he finished runner-up in the Indy 250 in 2020 behind Nicholas Samadio, I should say. Troxel, though, definitely seems to have a lot of fire in him today to keep this 21 machine out front, as he has been finding his way back to the inside a lot in this race, but definitely one of the stronger players, and same with Brandon Nelson, who's been up here a lot. Matt Tuck as well in the 79. Here comes Nathan Smith. We're seeing a lot of guys, these same guys, run up front in this race, and if it stays this way, one of these guys will very well likely go to victory lane.
Very well could. I wouldn't put it past him at all. We got a lot of solid drivers up here as, oh goodness. We're going to see another overtake for the lead here. Nelson to the inside, defending Body Armor Cup Series champion, is going to look to take that position away from Troxel. Troxel's going to hold on to it. Now a good surge on the outside coming out of turn number 3 there. Nelson's got the straightaway now, though. See if he can get around once again. Tuck on the inside of Nathan Smith there for 3rd. Oh, man, I thought Samadio was going to take a look on the inside 3 wide. Driver experience, very good on him for not making a 3 wide out of that, as Nelson goes back to the race lead once again here at Indy.
Yeah, it's interesting what we're seeing here, though. We have a couple of these guys, Zidell and the 2 Haas machines, and maybe Noah Clifton, too, who were part of that second pack before the caution came out, but Got a second pack forming again. I don't know why this is happening, but you got Ethan, or should I say Chase Buck in the 11 with Jordan Lopez and everyone else behind him. A little ways off the lead pack right now. So this is kind of interesting that we are essentially split back up the 2 packs, even though nothing happened this time. No one blew an engine. Everyone's still, all 26 guys who restarted on the lead lap are still on the lead lap. So definitely interesting to see that second pack form when there really wasn't anything to cause it to form. But we may get a third pack here. Nelson, Troxel, and Samadio. These were 3 major players in last year's race, and they're 1, 2, 3 right now. Brandon Nelson trying to hold on to this race lead. Luke Rainey is now up to 4th. And the last time Rainey went to victory lane in the Haas IndyCar Series was this race 4 years ago. This is a massive opportunity for the 2017 champion to get his second Indianapolis 250. But there's another Indy 250 champion right ahead of him, Nicholas Samadio, and he's yet to go to the race lead yet, but he has been very patient in this race, and here he is running third, about a third of the way through the Indianapolis 250.
And Rainey took a peek to the inside of Samadio there, headed down the backstretch, pulled back in line for now. He's going to make the move again. Headed off into 3. He's got a better run this time around, and he's got the inside line through the corner, and he will take it with relative ease over Mr. Edge. He's got the edge on Mr. Edge, if you will. Meanwhile, Troxel going for the race lead on Brandon Nelson down the front straightaway. He's got Rainey behind him in the draft there, and of course another experienced driver there. Rainey knows not to make it 3 wide and keeps in behind the 21. Now he'll make the move to the inside. Oh, man, got close there coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, it's a bit of an accordion effect. They spread out, they go single file, and they bunch right back up and go double wide. We've seen a lot of that. Here comes Justin Zeidel. And both Rainey and Zeidel were in the last 9 shootout on Sunday. Here they are both running top 5 relatively early on in this race, along with Samadio and Troxel were both in the fast 9 shootout. But how about Luke Rainey? I think this may be the first time he's led in this race since he won that Indianapolis 250 in 2017, but he is to the point here with Thomas Troxel, Nicholas Samadio. He has climbed his way through this pack, and he may very well be one of the fastest cars on this racetrack as well. But Troxel and Samadio are 2 guys who are also very fast, and they're 2 guys to watch out for as that second pack is closed back in. Jordan Lopez now behind Matt Tuck, and I'll have to see what these guys can do. Owen Miles, 44, Braden Perez is here as well. And we got 1 big pack, but they are relatively spread out throughout the field. They're not as bunched up as they were when we had that wreck, which is a good sign that hopefully we won't have any more wrecks in this race. But if that's the case, we may end up with a fuel mileage race. We're just going to have to find out and see. Troxel to the point. And here comes Samadio for second. And Samadio, the highest he has been all day right here as he gets around the 20 machine. Here comes Logan Williams to the inside of Brandon Nelson. And Justin Zeidel waiting in the wings behind the top 5. But a lot of strong players up front in this race. A lot of guys. As a matter of fact, Logan Williams is the only rookie to this race running inside the top 5 right now. And he, along with Ben Young, may be the only guys inside the top 10 who have never been in this race. So, a lot of experience up front, and that's what it takes to win a long race like this here at Indianapolis. But keep in mind, when Luke Rainey won this thing in 2017, he had never run in this race before. It was his rookie season. That may be the case for Logan Williams here today in that 69 machine, as he has been running very strong here in that nice machine. Here comes Samadio for second, though, but Troxel leading this field in the number 21.
And here comes Williams to the inside of Samadio. He's going to try to get the edge on Mr. Edge down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, well, I think that 77 is going to give a little bit of draft to Samadio. It's only going to work briefly, as Samadio is going to have the outside lane to Logan Williams' inside lane. I don't know, he got a bit of a run there on corner exit. I'm surprised. Looks like they're starting to lay some rubber down up there. We might see some outside runs going on later on in this race. But Samadio is going to slip back now behind Williams, who moves to the second position and put the 53 of Justin Zeidel in third.
Oh, someone's blowing up the race leader! Troxel! Oh, that's the second engine failure of the race! Unbelievable!
Kidding me.
And while leading this Indianapolis 250, Thomas Troxel with an engine failure. That is the second one of the day. We're not even halfway. The only thing is, this time it's just going to bunch everybody back up, because that happened right in front of the race leader. That happened to the race leader. What am I saying? So Thomas Troxel will officially finish 26th here today. Logan Williams has taken the race lead with Brandon Nelson in second place.
I was so worried when they got slowed up. I thought I saw them going 3 wide, headed off into corner number 3. Thankfully, they didn't do that, but poor old Thomas Troxel was so strong at the beginning of this race, as were a lot of other cars, and unfortunately, hate to see his day end like that. But Brandon Nelson's going to the point. He's got a Haas going to his inside. I believe that's Christian Vargas again.
That's actually Luke Rainey there in the 20. Rainey, Vargas is in the Williams right behind him. So Vargas has been doing an excellent job once again in this Indianapolis 250, but Troxel was a guy who was going to contend for this race win, and now he's out of the race. We also saw there Ace Garcia in the 6 and Max Anderson in the 62 are off the pace. They have lost the draft, so that leaves us with 23 drivers in this lead draft. So Ryan Durrani on up, and look at how close they are, and they all bunched up because they all have to check up for Troxel, who blew an engine right in front of them. What an unbelievable event right there. Such a heartbreaker for Thomas Troxel, who I know he wanted to beat Nicholas Samadio. I mean, you've got Hair Gel, and then you got Troxel who want to beat Samadio. Everyone wants to beat Samadio, but I'm telling you, Samadio is a hard one to beat, and he will finish ahead of Troxel in this race. You know, one guy I've yet to mention is Alonso. He's still running in this lead draft here in the number 63 machine. His 5th Indianapolis 250. It's been a while since he's been in this race, but Alonso definitely a solid driver. John Inner's back here as well in the 27. Another guy who's been in this race multiple times in the past. And as long as they keep this draft, watch out for him. Igor Barretto, another veteran to this series, who's up here in this lead draft in the 37. Obviously, you can't count out Trey Smith either, even though this is his rookie season in the Haas IndyCar Series. His brother won yesterday in the Freedom 50, so could run in the family that he could have a good shot here today. Luke Rainey, though, leading this field with Brandon Nelson behind. Mitchell Henderson, Christian Vargas, and Will Parrish back inside this top 5. Parrish has been a solid driver here today. And you got Braden Perez in the 44 as Brandon Nelson goes to the point to the inside of Luke Rainey. Here comes Vargas for second on the number 20 machine.
Yeah, I gotta give credit to the Haas's there. I know they're on the outside, they're slipping back now, but you normally wouldn't expect that much speed out of a Haas car, but
well, keep in mind the ratings are equal for everybody in this series, so
I know.
But hey, the Mercedes is leading, so what am I saying? Brandon Nelson pulling away here.
I was gonna say.
Will Parrish gonna take second. Here comes Braden Perez, and it's the first time we've really seen Perez run up front here today. And before that caution came out, he was in that second pack. But he was able to rejoin that lead draft, and now he is inside the top 3. Vargas going to fall back to 4th. Here comes Nathan Smith in the 48 machine. And Nathan Smith going to go up to the 5th position as he moves to the inside of the 2 Haas. Whereas Mitchell Henderson's fall back quite a bit there. But Luke Rainey there on the outside of Nathan Smith. Top 3 have pulled away, though. Brandon Nelson, Will Parrish, Braden Perez. Nelson, the most experienced driver of these 3. This is the first Indy 250 for both Parrish and Perez. Vargas in his second Indianapolis 250. Nathan Smith in his first, same with Logan Williams. So it wasn't that long ago where the top 10 was essentially dominated by veterans of this race. Now we have a lot of rookies running up front here in this Indianapolis 250.
Yeah, but they're chasing a veteran anyway. Well, maybe not anymore as Parrish gets to the inside of Brandon Nelson. And he is going to take the race lead here at Indianapolis. And this shuffling around is going to no doubt draw the pack in close again, as they will be side drafting the heck out of each other. And you already see, here comes that Williams car. They're going to bunch up already. Then we'll get Logan Williams back up there, and then everybody else.
Here comes Vargas in the number 89. Samadio to the inside of Nathan Smith. Owen Miles is now inside the top 10. Where did he come from? You know, that's the thing. You know, it's the great equalizer, the draft here. And a lot like a Daytona or Talladega race, but it's a little bit more orderly because it's not a true pack, per se. They do spread out. They kind of ebb and weave in terms of how close they are. Ethan Lewis right behind Owen Miles as well. A couple of guys we really haven't seen that much of in this race. 37 machine there of Igor Barretto inside the top 10 now. Now they're getting to the inside of Samadio as Rainey has gotten around and Braden Perez has gotten around. This Perez is the new race leader, and it's the 2 Mercedes 1-2 here at Indianapolis. Perez and Brandon Nelson. But keep in mind, we're not even halfway through this race yet. We've seen a lot happen so far in today's event, but we are just getting started here today, setting up for these final 50 laps. It is going to be a doozy, no doubt about it. Logan Williams to the inside of Will Parrish for third, and Luke Rainey here in the number 20 machine getting a bit of a draft on Logan Williams. He's moving back on the inside lane.
And the two Mercedes up front are going to go side by side for the point. It's going to be the 77 of Brandon Nelson. Nelson just looks like the strongest car at this point in the race right now. But we're not even halfway, but I think we may be looking at a race favorite right there in car number 77.
He has been strong, no doubt about it. Luke Rainey has also been strong once he's gotten into this lead draft. And we're starting to see some new players like Owen Miles move up, Igor Barretto as well in the 37. And you got to think, too, at this point of the race, the tire wear definitely coming into effect. I would imagine 10 to 12 laps we'll start seeing some pit stops if this race stays green, of course. So keep that in mind. That will definitely shake the field up, and that's when we're really going to see who's going to be in contention. Nicholas Samadio kind of mired in the midway part of this field. Zidell, Clifton, Trey Smith, Matt Tuck's kind of falling back as well. Yeah, Alonso leading these guys. Ben Young's falling back quite a bit in that number 54 machine, and Mitchell Henderson's fallen all the way to the back of the pack in 23rd. He was inside the top 5 just a few laps ago. As for the race lead, that's for second, I should say, you got Logan Williams to the inside of Braden Perez, and Brandon Nelson pulling away a little bit right now. Luke Rainey there, Christian Vargas, Owen Miles here in the 97 machine, all trying to get to this lead position. Miles has come kind of far back in this field, and here he is now inside the top 5 as he gets around Braden Perez. Luke Rainey might try to get a position on Logan Williams. I think he may be able to get it there, especially if he gets help from Vargas. But Williams still has the advantage as they enter turn number 1. Williams will remain in that second position and will close in on Brandon Nelson. Igor Barretto to the inside of Owen Miles. That is for the 6th position. Logan Williams trying on the 77, not going to quite get it.
Yeah, he tried making a move down the straightaway, pulled back in line. He's looking for a better slingshot move, headed off into turn number 3 now. And, oh man, he almost turned that 77 around, didn't he? But Brandon Nelson kept his foot in it. He is still going. Meanwhile, back here, they're side by side. It's Samadio going at it with someone. I couldn't
Igor
quite
Barretto
tell
there
who
in the
that
37.
was.
And Samadio will not be able to clear him. He'll get stuck in that outside lane again.
4 cars is stronger than 1.
Owen Miles kind of all by himself right now in this 97 machine. Igor Barretto kind of holding these guys up. They've gone side by side for quite a bit here. Here comes Justin Zidell to the inside of the 37 machine. That is for the 8th position now. Will Parrish up here, Noah Clifton as well. And this is Clifton's 5th Indianapolis 250. He's a veteran of this race, but I've never really seen that much of him in this Indianapolis 250 before, as we are now officially halfway through the Indianapolis 250. A lap ago, we crossed the halfway point of this race, and Logan Williams to the inside of Brandon Nelson for the race lead.
He is going to take it. He's going to bring Rainey back in that Haas 20. Taking a look to the inside. Could bring the 44 of Perez back to the back wing. He's too far back to draft back up, at least for right now. But he's going to take a look to the inside anyway. Rainey going to pull up in line in front of Brandon Nelson. Nelson's going to try the crossover down low out of corner number 4.
Yeah, Brandon Nelson, like you said, maybe the favorite to win this race at this point. That number 77 has been blisteringly fast here today, but his teammate is as well, and Braden Perez. But now I think Owen Miles may be a threat too, because he's been a bit of a dark horse. He came through the field there, but Vargas has also been, wow, that was close right there, but Vargas has also been one of these guys who has been able to consistently stay in this lead pack. So you got Zidell, Will Parrish, Nathan Smith. Matt Tuck fell back initially, but he's starting to move his way back through the field in the 79. The big thing really is you want to be kind of towards the front once the cycle of pit stops begin, because that's when you really start to get these big breakaways. And especially if this thing stays green, once we get that cycle, that could really make things interesting for these guys, especially if they're in the back of the field. You're going to have to pull some strategy to game that position. This pack is kind of split up a bit. They're spread out Ryan Durrani at the end of this pack is almost 3 seconds off the race lead, so it's almost not even a pack anymore. It's just a long line of cars that happen to be relatively close to each other. But the tire wear definitely coming into effect right now. Logan Williams, Brandon Nelson, Braden Perez, Luke Rainey, those top 4 are pulled away from the rest of the field here. And these 4 guys may be the ones to beat here in Indianapolis here in this year's Indianapolis 250.
And the last time they pit under that first caution was around lap 22 or 23 or so. I think we could see lap 62, 63 if this is a full 40-lap pit run. We'll just have to see how things work out here, which, depending on when they do come down, it may or may not end up being a pseudo 2019 finish in this one if it does go green the rest of the way, which the way they're spread out right now, I'm not convinced that it won't, honestly.
We're just going to have to see how that fuel mileage plays out if they come in. I think we'll be able to tell, you know, if it will be a fuel mileage race, because last year I think it was like lap 61 when they came down, and there was a caution in between all of that as well, but, you know, they don't really save fuel under caution in this game. So it's essentially the amount of laps you have, whether you're under caution or under the green, it's going to be the same no matter what. So it's about 40 laps, regardless. As Perez takes the race lead, Luke Rainey here as well. Able to get around Logan Williams right there. Here comes Nelson for third. Zaidel now up to the 5th position. He's a strong contender for this one, and Will Parrish right behind him as well. But you can definitely tell now, this field is really spread out. You're definitely starting to see who's strong and who's not as these tires start to wear. And these top 4 may be the ones to watch for as this race goes along, especially if this race stays green. And that's very possible with how spread out these guys are. But then again, they go and make 2 passes at once right when I say that. So who knows what's going to happen. Luke Rainey to the inside for the race lead on the 44 machine of Braden Perez. Here comes Logan Williams back on that inside lane. And all these guys kind of in a single file line. I think they're kind of getting prepared for this cycle to begin here. And you can definitely tell that these guys, their tire wear is really coming into effect. Now we're going to have to see what Ace Garcia and Max Anderson do. I don't think they're really going to have any shot, but will they pull any strategy to try to get up to the front again? As of right now, they're 17 to 25 seconds off the race lead, so I don't think that's going to happen for any of those guys, but we are just going to have to see, especially if we end up with another caution and they stay on the lead lap. They could still have an opportunity at winning this race.
I have a sneaking suspicion that they may have actually already come down the pit road too, is why they're so far behind.
Yeah, they would be further behind if they did, though. And the reason why they're as far behind as they are right now is because they haven't been in the draft at all. So I definitely think that's playing a factor. However, like I said, I don't know why they've lost the draft, essentially. They seem to be running just fine. I don't know if it had to do with Troxel's incident and they just jammed it up a little bit more than other guys. We could have had a bit of a scuffle in the back of the field once all that occurred. As Zaidel up to 3rd in the 53 machine. Vargas is here as Logan Williams gets shuffled out of line. Luke Rainey continues to lead. Braden Perez has fallen way back. He got stuck in that outside lane, and now Matt Tuck's passing him in the 79. And you can definitely tell here, everyone from Lopez on up, they're very fast, but these guys here, Roberto Crown Jr., Trey Smith, John Anders, they're just a little bit slower than the rest of the field at this point. But Braden Perez really falling back. He gets stuck in that outside lane, especially when the tire wear is as significant as it is right now. You're just going to go nowhere, and that's why I think we're seeing a lot more spread out racing. But now these guys stuck in the outside lane, they're going to fall back again, and all that battling is going to allow Rainey and Nelson... Oh, hard in the wall! What a massive accident! Perez and one of the Renaults, that is Chase Buck in the 11. Unreal!
Just as we were talking about...
Right off the corner,
Perez.
and I saw Perez. I'm wondering if Perez had some sort of an issue. Wow. And... this is just like last year. Look at the lap count now.
You have got to be kidding me.
So they come and they cross the line with 40 laps to go. Just like last year. This could very well turn into a fuel mileage race, but unreal. And we were not expecting anything like that to occur. And out of the blue... Braden Perez was flying into the catch fence with Chase Buck. Phew, I mean, I know this is just a video game, and, you know, obviously we don't play it like it is real life. But that, like, all of a sudden, the camera angle switches, and then you see that, it actually does scare you.
It did. I jumped.
Well, it will give these drivers an opportunity to breathe, but now the question is, who is going to put enough fuel in the tank? Who's going to be able to stretch it to make it to the end? It's just like it was last year. And you know who you should watch out in this situation?
Mr.
Samadio, who hasn't really been running that strong per se in this race. But if he kind of just lays back a little bit, if this thing stays green, you know, Samadio's going to have an opportunity to stretch the fuel again. And that's the thing. This is a very natural occurrence, too. I mean, it's not like it can... I mean, obviously, it's like the third year we may end up with a fuel mileage race, but each time, it's kind of just the way it is, you know? It's not like there's something with the track where it's going to happen every time. It's just pure coincidence that we've gotten into this situation. Luke Rainey coming down the pit lane as the race leader. We will keep with him. Obviously, everyone to get 4 tires. Of course, in real-life IndyCar, it's either you get tires or you don't. This is still a NASCAR-oriented video game, so the 2-tire option is still technically there for these guys, but with how long all these guys were on, they will all take 4 tires. Looks like Rainey might win the race off the pit lane. Brandon Nelson, maybe the one guy you want to watch out for, won't be close enough. So Rainey wins. Going to be close for second. I don't know who they're going to give that to. Vargas. So Christian Vargas up to second. Brandon Nelson, Will Parrish. Igor Barretto is now up to the 5th position. Definitely keep an eye out for him. Logan Williams 6th. Matt Tuck 7th. Justin Zaidel, Trey Smith, Jordan Lopez. And Nicholas Samadio was a little bit... He was actually behind both Max Anderson and Ace Garcia there, which this is a great opportunity for Anderson and Garcia to get back in this race because they had completely lost the draft, but now back on the lead lap. Samadio, they may have packed that thing in. I'm wondering if that's what they did, because he essentially fell to the back of the field there. Owen Miles, the last driver off the pit lane there. So 2 more drivers will be eliminated, and we will be left with 23 drivers on the lead lap here. Chase Buck and Braden Perez with a massive accident off the exit of turn 2. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the second caution of the day here in the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250. This is a strange incident, and I mean, it shocked us when it happened. We didn't know what on earth was going on at the time. Braden Perez, he wasn't clear on Chase Buck. He wasn't even close to being clear on Chase Buck there, and yeah, and you're going to see, too, and like we mentioned, we review these accidents after we do the race. We don't mention it during the race because we really didn't see it at the time. Nicholas Samadio actually got hit there by Braden Perez as they were flipping through the air. So that's why they were on the pit lane for as long as they were. But Samadio is still in this race, still going to have a shot at this race victory. But, it's unrealistic to see a barrel roll in an IndyCar, but, hey, that's the way this game is, you know. Not meant for open wheel, but, hey, I will say this has been a pretty dang good race so far. Not necessarily for Chase Buck, though, who, rolls into the inside catch fence there in the number 11 machine.
Here's Braden Perez, the most unluckiest guy in the entire community of NR 2003 this year, having another incident there with Chase Buck, who is going to need some new pants after that one, or probably a new helmet too, because probably got a little seasick in that thing. That was a violent roll to the inside, but Mr. Edge in the 9 getting collected in that as well. Your defending Indianapolis 250 winner. Have to see how that affects him in the rest of this race, but just wrong place, wrong time. If it does affect him, that's going to be a shame because he's
definitely one of the fastest guys. Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's go on board with him and see what that all felt like for him. On board, Nicholas Samadio. This accident right here. Oh boy. Look at that. And you can see it. I'm surprised that he actually isn't out of the race after that. That was a hard hit, but either way, Should be interesting to see how the rest of this race plays out. Definitely intrigued to see who gets this race victory. Race leader, Luke Rainey, in the number 20, going to lead us to the restart here for a second time of the day in the Indianapolis 250 for 2021. We are back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and would like to point out, last year, the caution where everyone tried to stretch it came out on lap 57. This one came out on lap 60. So with that in mind, we should not have an issue. They tried to stretch it 43 laps last year instead of 40. But, and then too, if we get another caution, like I said, I know I said that, you know, fuel mileage under the caution isn't really any different. But if we do get another caution, I would imagine that would kind of end all the chances of this being a fuel mileage race. But it's a little bit different than it was last year. They had a little bit more time last year when that caution came out during that last cycle. This year, I think most of these guys should be able to make it, including Nicholas Samadio, who's at the back of the field here. I don't know what happened to last year's winner there. But he is 23rd, 23 drivers on the lead lap with Luke Rainey, Christian Vargas, Brandon Nelson, his teammate Braden Perez in that accident, Will Parrish, Igor Barretto. That is the top 5 with Logan Williams, Matt Tuck, Justin Zaidel, Jordan Lopez, and Trey Smith, the top 10. 23 guys on the lead lap. Who's going to win this race? 36 laps to go in the Indianapolis 250.
Like Rainey got a good jump on the restart there. Vargas, I don't think, got off as well as the 20 did. But Parrish definitely outpaced Brandon Nelson on the restart. He's taking a look to the inside, slingshotting down the back straightaway. Nelson, however, is going to be in the draft of Vargas, so Parrish will pull back in line. Now Vargas closing in on Rainey through turn 3.
Here comes Justin Zaidel and Jordan Lopez on Matt Tuck. Tuck hasn't been one of the faster guys in this race, but he's been able to keep this thing in the race. As for the race lead, Vargas all over the gearbox. Here comes Brandon Nelson. Vargas was looking, but Nelson was looking before he was. And Nelson going to take second away from Vargas. He may get a run on Rainey as well. It's going to be a tight one, but Rainey will hold on to the race lead.
It looked like Vargas was going to try to block, Vargas was going to try to block the 77 going down the front straightaway. Wasn't quite able to, as Nelson was already down there. And speaking of down there, he's down there on Rainey now going through turn 3 and 4. He's bringing Parrish, Barretto, and Logan Williams with him down to the inside. He migrates up to the top, and it'll be a 2 by 2 by 2 if they can get side by side once again. But now 77 starting to stretch away greatly here.
This has been Brandon Nelson's race, no doubt about it. Of course, his teammate got caught up in that big accident, but he has been the class of this field today, I feel like. One of the strongest drivers in this race. Barretto's up here, though. This is the highest Barretto's been in this race. He's to the inside of Luke Rainey there for the 3rd position. Now to the inside of Will Parrish there for 2nd. Watch out for him. Watch out for this guy, Jordan Lopez. This is a guy who has never won before in this series. This is his 5th season in the Haas IndyCar Series. Has never gone the victory lane. What a win it would be if Lopez could win this race. He would join Nicholas Samadio as drivers who have won this race and the Thanksgiving 500 before. So, interesting little statistic right there. Of course, Lopez's first start was in the Thanksgiving 500 in 2016. Go back through the field here. Max Anderson was one of those guys who was able to get back on the draft there. He's 19th. Ace Garcia, though, he might have an issue in that 6 machine as he has fallen off the pace a little bit, but his theoretical teammate, Nicholas Samadio, is not really getting anywhere, and I'm not entirely sure what the issue was on the pit stop for those guys, but they have kind of fallen behind. As for the race lead, here comes Igor Barretto with a nose to the inside of Brandon Nelson for the top position. Here comes Logan Williams as well, and Justin Zaidel is here. The 2019 champion has not won in this series since his first start in 2018. Will he get the biggest win of his life here today? Next time by, 31 laps to go in the Indianapolis 250.
Barretto doing a good job holding on to the lead right now. Williams going to take a look down to the inside. Will he get to the inside? Yes, he will. Here comes Williams on the inside, bringing Zaidel with him. Barretto on the top side stretches back ahead of car number 69, who falls back in line. Zaidel now. Parrish going to look to the inside of Zaidel at the line, headed off into 1.
that is a tight battle right there, but Williams could not hold it on the inside, but here comes Lopez. And, you know, after every restart, I think we end up with these players who we haven't really seen all race long be able to work their way up front. And Jordan Lopez is one of those guys who is now up inside the top 5. Here comes Luke Rainey again with Vargas. Those were the two guys who led on the restart. John Andrews is up here in the 27. We haven't seen anything of John Andrews at all in this race. And how about the other Williams as well? Hergel Arvin Alonso hanging on to the back of this pack. Watch out for Alonso. He is a solid driver. He could have a good shot at the race victory. As for the race lead, Logan Williams going to take it away this time. Help from Will Parrish. Here comes Lopez for third on Barretto. And now Parrish looking to the inside of Logan Williams for the race lead.
Looks like Williams is going to have a wee bit of a jump, headed off into turn 3. Parrish is still there down to the inside. Williams not going to clear him. Lopez down there, almost on the inside of Parrish. They tried making it 3 wide there. Now it's just that the two of them, Lopez will make the move again, but Parrish is going to have a draft coming from Williams. Will Lopez get a draft? Well, looks like Parrish is going to clear him now. Will he get the dive into one? Yes, he will. So Parrish will hold on. Ooh, will he? It's Lopez is coming back, as well as your 2017 winner and champion, Luke Rainey, there in the 20.
Yeah, he's up to third now. Meanwhile, Nelson fell back a little bit there in the 77, but he's back on the inside lane. And when these tires are fresh, we get a lot of this really close double-wide racing. But once it starts to wear out, and of course, if this thing stays green to the end, once we get to the end of this race, they will definitely wear out. It gets a little bit harder to make a pass, so these guys know they got to make the moves now, or otherwise they may not have an opportunity. I really don't think anybody has a shot at winning this race. Max Anderson, or from Owen Miles down, I don't think any of these guys are going to have a shot. Owen Miles, Samadio, Roberto Crown Jr., and then Ace Garcia has just really been off the pace in this race. I'm not entirely sure what they missed on that car, but they've been having some issues here today, unfortunately. Will Parrish leading. Here comes Rainey with Vargas back on the inside lane. Noah Clifton is up here, but Nathan Smith, oh boy!
Oh, no,
Barretto's gonna spin Nathan Smith! Third wreck of the day, and they're gonna sweep the field again!
Oh my goodness!
Zidell involved! Matt Tuck as well! And I think that was Ace Garcia who was coming in there. Luke, or should I say Ryan Durrani, also caught up as well in the 52. That was the 53 of Justin Zidell, Barretto, and Barretto got to the inside of Nathan Smith, and you just can't do that. You just should not do that. Third caution of the day here in this Indianapolis 250, just like the first accident we had when Davey Johnson and Baranauskas pulled the same exact thing. Will Parrish, your race leader. What a disappointment for those guys, and that's going to take out Matt Tuck, who was having such a strong run in this race. It's going to take all those guys out who were having a strong run in this race. Is that Brandon Nelson? No, that's Nathan Smith, excuse me. None of these guys were really, maybe with the exception of Barretto, who was up front there kind of near the end, none of those guys really were strong contenders in this race. I mean, Rainey, Vargas, Williams, Nelson, those have been guys who, I think one of those 4 guys is probably going to win this race, the way this thing has been going. I mean, not to take anything away from Will Parrish. Will Parrish has actually been up front a lot in this race, too. He's got a strong shot. But we talked about it at the top of the show. Will it be, a race like it was last year where a lot of guys kind of stay in, or will it be a race of attrition? And at this point, it has been a race of attrition. It's a tough break. We're going to be left with 18 guys on the racetrack after that one. I think 5 drivers going to get knocked out from that accident. Nathan Smith, Matt Tuck, Igor Barretto, Justin Zidell, and Ryan Durrani unfortunately caught up in that one. And that's how this race is. It's last year was a bit of a misnomer. We didn't have much go on in terms of wrecks last year. And this is only the 3rd caution, and it could very well be the last caution of the race, too. So, longest green flag run has been about 45 laps in this race, I think. So we're going to have less than 25 laps to go when we restart, so we could easily go green to the end. But just that one, and every single 3-wide situation that we have had here today has resulted in a wreck. And I know it's getting near the end of the race. You want to get up front, want to have a shot at that race victory, but you do that, you're more than likely going to take yourself out. And it always, you know, surprising, like, these cars, they hit that inside wall, they come back up to the field. I'm surprised that not more drivers get caught up in those accidents. I mean, that was only a 5-car accident.
No kidding.
But even the first one was kind of the same way. It really only took out a couple extra guys. It didn't actually clear the field. If these were stock cars, it would clear the field. These Indy cars, they have a way of avoiding it. Well, let's go ahead, and none of these guys came down the pit lane, which means that fuel should not be an issue. Like I mentioned, they came down about 3 laps later than the last stop for most of the guys last year. So with that in mind, we should not have an issue with fuel mileage. Should not have an issue, but you never know. We didn't think Jonathan King was going to come down the pit lane at the end of the 2019 Indy 250. Well, we all know what happened there. You know, it's going to be a fun race here, but first, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the third caution of the day here in the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250. Igor Barretto, Nathan Smith, and Noah Clifton there on that outside lane, but Clifton does not get caught up in this one. It's Barretto who slides into Nathan Smith then, just like the Davey Johnson, Baranauskas incident earlier in the race. Pretty much the same exact place as well. Nathan Smith goes flying, they lose control, and they come back up through the field, and Durrani and Zidell get caught up from Barretto, and then Max Anderson actually got a hit right there. I think Anderson's going to be able to continue, but Matt Tuck nowhere to go as he got collected by Nathan Smith. It sounds just like the wreck we had on lap 22. And Durrani went flying through the air. He went upside down there in the 52 machine. We really haven't seen anything of Durrani in this race, and unfortunately, that's going to be the last we see of him here today. But Zidell was the guy who had a shot at winning this race. Same goes for Nathan Smith and Igor Barretto. They were all really strong, and even Matt Tuck probably could have gotten back up there, but unfortunately, their days will end right there with that big wreck here late in the race in the Indianapolis 250.
Here they are coming through turn 3, and that's... Good grief, that's a hard hit to the inside. Going back up in the field. Oh, Nathan Smith took a hit to the aero screen when he came back up the track as he just comes and rolls to a stop. There's a car that looked like Samadio. I think that was Garcia we saw coming through on the inside. Yeah, but man, oh man. 3 horrendous incidents here in the Indianapolis 250. It has been a wild race for sure. It's been a great race for sure, but we've seen 3 horrendous incidents that have taken some guys out of the race. And I know we said it before, but isn't it fortunate that this is not real life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you're not banging your head against your desk, but other than that, we will have no injuries. Will Parrish leading this field. Have to see if he wins in his first ever IndyCar Series start. Let's see what he does on the restart here in the Indianapolis 250 for 2021. We are back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250 after another violent accident. Every wreck we've had so far has resulted in a flip. That's usually how it is here in Indianapolis. Hopefully we do not see that tomorrow in real life. I want a safe race tomorrow for the Indianapolis 500, but definitely looking forward to tomorrow. Indy 500 and the Coke 600, the greatest day in motorsports, and it's back in almost its full glory. Monaco was last week, but Monaco is... I don't know. Monaco's not the best race ever. Max Verstappen leading the World Championship right now. That's pretty cool. 18 drivers on the lead lap. Out of the race after that accident include Nathan Smith, Matt Tuck, Igor Barretto, Justin Zidell, and Ryan Durrani. Will Parrish is your race leader, with Luke Rainey, Christian Vargas in third, Jordan Lopez, Noah Clifton, Logan Williams, Hergel Irvin Alonso, Brandon Nelson, Ethan Lewis, and John Andrews. That is the top 10. Of course, only 8 drivers behind them. There's only 18 guys left in this race, but they're all on the lead lap. They could all win this year's Indy 250. 23 laps to go in Indianapolis. This may be the last restart of the day. We'll have to see how it all goes down.
Parrish got a good restart there. Look at Williams going to the inside there on car number 16 of Noah Clifton. Here comes the 89 of Vargas to the inside of Rainey for second. Golly, that was close.
It was.
And he's almost going to turn him again.
Williams got around Clifton there. Here comes Alonso. Now when Alonso mixes up with his theoretical teammate Christian Vargas, it's going to be hard to tell who is who, but it could actually be between Alonso and Vargas for this win. Vargas going to go back to the inside of Rainey. That's for second. Vargas is going to have a good opportunity of winning this race. I don't know if Vargas has led a lap yet, but he has been up front pretty much this entire day. Here comes Jordan Lopez. He's got a shot on Luke Rainey for third. This is a big moment for Lopez. Like I said, it's been in this series for 4 straight years without a win. This is 5th season. What a win it would be if he could pull it off. Williams tried. Did not have enough room right there. They're all getting around Brandon Nelson. Got Clifton there, and Alonso right behind, and then, of course, Ethan Lewis back behind as well. Andrews, Trey Smith, Owen Miles, Ben Young, Mitchell Henderson still in this race. Samadio there as well. Roberto Cram Jr., Max Anderson, and then Ace Garcia has just been off the pace all day. Here comes Williams on Lopez, but Vargas closing in on Parrish for the race lead. Luke Rainey right in the wings of those drivers as well. Next time by, only 20 laps to go in the Indianapolis 250. But let me tell you, that's going to be a long 20 laps for these drivers getting to the finish of this race.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you right now. We see that 77 back of the inside after slipping back earlier. Jordan Lopez is up there looking strong, but I don't see there's any way that 77 doesn't work his way back up to the race lead here. Just how strong he's been all day. That caution reset may have been exactly what he needed because he was going backwards.
He definitely was, and he's going to have another opportunity of this race. Williams going to try on Vargas here. They may open the door for Lopez and Alonso to move to the inside. It's going to be a tight one between all these guys, but Will Parrish has been able to hold these guys off, and we saw yesterday, and we see that in the Freedom 50 a lot, especially as the tire wear comes into effect, that it's difficult to make a pass for the race lead. Landon Smith Jr. led the last 14 laps of yesterday's Freedom 50. We may be in a position right now where Will Parrish may be able to pace this field and hold these guys off, because the tire wear is definitely a factor at this point. We're just going to have to see if Will Parrish can in fact do that. Lopez to the inside of Vargas, and Alonso, the highest he has run all day. Here's Yalarv and Alonso, now going to go for third on Jordan Lopez. And Vargas is going to fall back in the 89. As for the race lead, Logan Williams has a shot on Will Parrish. He doesn't have any help, but if he keeps the inside entering turn 3, he's going to take that lead right away. And Williams to the inside. Here comes Clifton on Alonso, and here comes Ethan Lewis in the 12. Both Alonso, Lewis, and Clifton, all 3 of these guys, we've barely seen any of them all day long. Here comes John Andrews as well on the 27. He's inside the top 10. But for the race lead, it's Logan Williams leading Will Parrish. Here comes Alonso. Lopez a little bit tight there with Ethan Lewis. Parrish going to go back to the inside on Williams for the race lead.
What a hectic battle that's going on up front. And here, Yalarv Alonso has a front row seat. Now it may be Clifton getting by Alonso there for that third position. Jordan Lopez going to try to train in behind Clifton there. Look out as Hergel almost got to the back of Williams there. Williams stretches back ahead. Parrish to the point. Williams going to be in the draft going down Gasoline Alley, headed down into turn number 1. Not close enough to make a move just yet, but plenty of moves being made in behind as here comes the 12 of Ethan Lewis in that Renault.
Yeah, I mean, you've got so many players up here who have not been up front in this race this whole entire day, but now they have an opportunity at winning the Indianapolis 250, and Williams going to go back again to the inside of Will Parrish. These two fighting it out for this race lead. I would watch out for these two guys. Alonso and Lopez are going to be factors in this race, and Ethan Lewis as well. I mean, where did he come from? He's been in the back this entire day. Now he's top 5, coming to 16 laps to go in the Indianapolis 250. Vargas back to the inside of Clifton. He's got Trey Smith behind him. Owen Miles and both the Haas machines. Rainey's falling back, but Henderson is right there. I mean, everyone from Max Anderson on up, I think, have a shot at winning this race. We're just going to have to see how it all goes down, though. Williams going to go back again to the inside of Will Parrish. They keep on swapping for position. Here comes Alonso, though. He is right behind this 69, and he could make it 3 wide if he wanted to. Ooh,
I'm not so sure he won't.
Right there. Williams will clear Parrish, but Alonso, with help from Ethan Lewis, he's got a nose to the inside of Logan Williams, and he's got help from the 12 machine. Alonso, will he finally lead in this race? 15 to go in the Indy 250. Clifton's up here. Vargas moving back on the inside. But Alonso has taken the race lead in the number 63. Ethan Lewis is now second, and neither of these guys have been top 10 nearly the entire day. But with 15 laps to go, they're going to be side by side for the race lead.
Well, Hairgel got to the lead, if only for 20 seconds, as Ethan
Vargas
Lewis
with a bold move to the inside of Clifton. And now Vargas up to second. Vargas with a huge head of steam. Where did he come from? But Ethan Lewis is going to lead with 14 laps to go here at Indianapolis. Clifton in the 16, in line behind Logan Williams, and Trey Smith. His brother won yesterday in the Freedom 50 as for the race lead. Vargas on the inside of Ethan Lewis. Everybody's got a shot. Everybody from Brandon Nelson is now at the back of this pack, all the way up to the leader. Christian Vargas have a shot at this win. Oh, but will Logan Williams make it 3 wide? He will not. But he's going to get to the inside of Vargas, and there's so much passing going on up here. The intensity is at an all-time high in this race, and all these guys know that an Indy 250 race victory is right within their grasp. Vargas leads it with 13 to go.
Williams is going to get a huge dive there on the inside, bringing the Ferrari of Clifton with him there on the inside. Here comes the Aussie Noah Clifton, and in behind him, how about the Red Bull car, I believe it. Yeah, Trey Smith there on the inside in car number 23.
Look at this. You got Owen Miles. You got Mitchell Henderson on this inside lane. They have not been up front pretty much at all in this race either. It's amazing just, the dominance we saw out of Luke Rainey, Brandon Nelson in this race. And now, look at who's up front. Logan Williams, though, he's the one up front. He's been dominant in this race. And, look at that lead he's got now. Those guys go for second. Trey Smith to the inside of Clifton. And Jordan Lopez now going for the third position. Here comes Owen Miles, Mitchell Henderson, Luke Rainey on the inside lane. Lewis back on the inside as well. I mean, you're sitting duck if you're out there that far, but if you're out there that far with 1 lap to go, you're probably pretty good. It's not like it is at Daytona or Talladega where they close in on you really quickly. Takes them a little while to get to you. With Trey Smith now up here, up to second. How would it be? Landon Smith Jr. won the Freedom 50 yesterday. How would it be if Trey Smith won the Indy 250 the next day? That would be something else. No doubt about it, but Lopez, he knows a race win. Oh, caution is out. And that was Max Anderson. Oh my goodness, this is going to give all these guys an opportunity once again.
Yeah, I thought I saw Brandon Nelson slow and low coming out of turn 4. That must have happened over in the short shoot behind all that was going on.
Ooh, yeah, there's some damage on the front wing of Anderson's machine. So right at the end of this race, we're going to have a late race restart. And I don't know if that's what these guys wanted to see, but that's what we're going to get. Logan Williams. Now, Williams has been a guy who has essentially run top 10 all day. As for a lot of these other guys who are up front now, Trey Smith, Jordan Lopez, Owen Miles, Mitchell Henderson, they have not been up there. You got Noah Clifton. Luke Rainey has been a dominant guy in this race. Ethan Lewis, Ben Young is still in this race. He's not really been up front that much. The outside pole sitter. That's the 89 of Vargas. Alonso right behind Vargas, and it's Will Parrish, Samadio, John Andrews, Brandon Nelson, Roberto Crown Jr., and Ace Garcia. I think this may have been a 1-car incident. Well, it probably was a 2-car by the looks of it, but someone might have clipped Anderson into the inside wall, and he came back up. So another wreck there. That'll leave us 17 guys on the racetrack and on the lead lap. Tough break for Max Anderson. He really wasn't that fast today. Never really contended, but I'm just gonna have to see how it all shakes out for him as the season goes along. But we're gonna have, oh boy, a late race restart here in this Indianapolis 250, and the old thing, you know how it is this race. I always lose my voice. Well, I don't lose my voice. My voice is very well used to all the yelling, but you know how crazy I can get at the end of these Indy 250s. I'm going to try to keep it calm right now. Let's go ahead and see what happened to Max Anderson to bring out the 4th and what will hopefully be the final caution of the day here in this Indianapolis 250, and then get to the restart with Logan Williams leading the field here at the Brickyard. Same place as 2 of the past 2 accidents we've had, and they went 3 wide again. Brandon Nelson got to the inside of Max Anderson, and Anderson's going to hit that inside wall. The good thing is Anderson never flipped, but I don't know how good of a thing that is. If this was real life, this would have been a really rough hit. Head on into the outside wall. But, that's been the mildest wreck we've seen today, but it's going to set up probably the wildest restart of the day. Gonna see how that all plays out, but Max Anderson going to be out of the race after that one. The only driver who's going to be eliminated from that wreck.
Watching again here, coming through Calamity Corner is Brandon Nelson into the back of Anderson, sends him down into the inside wall, comes up the track, just misses those cars at the tail end of the field. But that is a couple of really... Oh my goodness, who was that coming through?
Roberto Crown Jr. almost came in and hit him. But thankfully that was not the case. All right, 7 laps to go in this Indianapolis 250. Logan Williams has been one of the dominant guys in this race. Will he get it done, or will it be somebody else? Who's going to win the Indianapolis 250? Find out in just a few moments here on AG Racing. Let's have some fun. Let's give out the Borg Warner Trophy here from Indianapolis. Next time by, it will be the green flag for 7 laps to go in the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250. What a race it has been. And if there's any one guy, I think at this point, who has been the strongest guy, it has been Logan Williams. He's been up front pretty much this entire race, been inside that top 10. But we have so many new players right behind him. Trey Smith in second. Jordan Lopez in third. Owen Miles is fourth. Mitchell Henderson is fifth. Noah Clifton. Luke Rainey has been a dominant guy in this race. He's been up front quite a bit. Ethan Lewis, Ben Young, and Christian Vargas. Vargas, Rainey, and Williams have been the 3 dominant guys. Same with Brandon Nelson. But Nelson, as we saw there, hopefully our assumption is correct. We do all the accidents at the end of the race now, so... But, presuming that Nelson may have been the one who spun Max Anderson around. Anderson joins a lot of guys. Nathan Smith, Matt Tuck, 37 of Igor Barretto, Justin Zeidel, Ryan Durrani, Chase Buck, Braden Perez, the 21 of Thomas Troxel, the Blue and Engine. 98 machine also out of the race. Al Lagacy, our pole sitter. Davey Johnson, Christopher Alphaby, Audra Baranauskas, Madison Tall, Derrick Hamill, and the 99 of Dustin Davis, who blew an engine very early on in this event. Well, here we go. Who's it going to be? It's 7 laps to go on the Indy 250, and Logan Williams is your race leader, but will he be leading in 7 laps? We're just going to have to find out and see.
He's not going to be leading the next time they come around, I don't think, because look at the restart that Trey Smith got and the big push coming from Jordan Lopez as soon as they get to the back straightaway. Lopez going to peek down low. Now Trey Smith thinking about it. Is he going to try to do the slingshot?
He's going to stay right behind him for now. It's tough right after the restart to make a move because of how spread out they restart. But now you got them all bunched up, and they're going to have an opportunity on Williams here, especially the next time around. Trey Smith's looking, not going to get it. Lopez going to try on Smith for the second position, but he's not going to get it. 6 to go for Logan Williams. Here comes Owen Miles trying for third on Lopez, could not get it. And they remain in the same positions they restarted, but here comes Trey Smith looking to the inside of Logan Williams, not going to be able to get it quite yet. Williams stays out front with 5.5 laps to go in this Indianapolis 250. Here comes Miles, though, to the inside of Lopez. He may finally get it here on the 8. You got to keep in mind, the tire wear is very significant now. These tires are worn out like crazy, and it may be difficult to get around this 69 in these last 5 laps.
Oh, they're gonna have a difficult time doing it for sure. But Trey Smith, he might have a run going now. He's made the move a lot earlier, right at the beginning of the turn, and now he is gonna take the lead away from Williams.
Here comes Trey Smith. That may end the race for Logan Williams. He may not have a shot at winning now that he's stuck in that outside lane. Here comes Jordan Lopez, though. And the floodgates are open for that inside lane to get to the race lead. Noah Clifton's up here. Owen Miles as well. But Lopez trying, not going to get it. Trey Smith has officially taken the lead in this Indianapolis 250. Coming to 4 laps to go.
And they're so spread out now. see anything, at least for right now, impeding the battle for the win. I think we might end up going green to the end. Here comes Clifton to the inside of Williams, who continues to slip backwards on that outside lane. And Lopez going to take a peek for the race lead. Meanwhile, here comes the Renault, Ethan Lewis.
And Williams, he got stuck on an outside lane, and he has fallen all the way back. Vargas is now back in this line. Here comes Lopez. Wow, he had to block Miles to make the move, and to the inside of Trey Smith, coming to 3 laps to go. Jordan Lopez looking to lead for the first time today. They're side by side with 3 laps to go. Miles is going to try, I think. I think he might try to go 3 wide for the race lead. He will! 3 wide for the race lead! And Lopez able to clear Trey Smith, but Miles takes it away in the 97. Here comes Clifton. Here comes Henderson. And now Noah Clifton might have a shot on the inside. Lopez is not going to be happy with that move at all. But thankfully, they avoided crashing into turn number 1. But Noah Clifton to the inside of Owen Miles for the race lead. Here comes Mitchell Henderson in the 51, Luke Rainey, Ethan Lewis, and Logan Williams back on the inside. 2 laps to go now for Noah Clifton and the number 16 in the Indianapolis 250.
Did they survive?
Here comes Rainey. Luke Rainey to the inside of Mitchell Henderson. That is for second. And Luke Rainey looking for a second Indianapolis 250 race victory. He may very well get it, but Clifton is starting to pull away. That might have been the move Clifton needed to win this race. Owen Miles back up to third. Ethan Lewis to the inside of Henderson, and Henderson is falling back. And maybe between Clifton and Rainey, a couple of drivers who are running in their 5th Indianapolis 250s here today. Who is it gonna be? They're coming to the white flag in the greatest race of the NOFSRL. 1 lap to go in the Indy 250. And here comes Luke Rainey in the number 20. But the white flag is displayed for Noah Clifton. But to the inside with 1 lap to go. Rainey to the inside for the race lead.
That kind of draft they got going. Better warm up the photo finish cameras. Here comes Ethan Lewis to the inside. Car number 12. Is he going to make the move on Luke Rainey?
Down. He's got a shot. He's got some moves.
Goodness.
To the inside of Luke Rainey for the race lead. Logan Williams back on the inside. But Ethan Lewis, can he hold the inside? He can. Williams there as well. But Ethan Lewis out of nowhere in the Renault. He's going to clear Luke Rainey. And Logan Williams is not going to get there. He's going to lead 1 lap in this entire race. The biggest win of his career. Ethan Lewis wins the Indianapolis 250 in the Haas IndyCar Series. Unbelievable.
Holy cow, what a race that was. And he led only 1 lap, but it was the one that mattered the most.
Wow.
What a terrific race that was.
Luke Rainey there. They got into that sweet spot after a restart where they just kept on passing. And Ethan Lewis, I don't know where he came from. He held that inside lane, got to him, and made the pass. Ethan Lewis wins the Indianapolis 250. The biggest win that he'll ever have, I think, in the NOFSRL. How about that? And if I'm not mistaken, that may be his first career win on Napa Fan as well. I don't think Ethan has ever won on my channel as a driver before. I could be wrong about that. But what a race victory for Ethan Lewis. As there are the official standings of the Indianapolis 250, we are going to export these results to make it official. But what a day here at Indianapolis. And, I mean, we did all of that for a guy who was running in the back the entire race. How about Ethan Lewis? I don't think any of us thought he was going to do it. But he did it. Ethan Lewis, your 2021 Indianapolis 250 champion.
It's honestly a miracle that they were even able to make it to that point, green flag racing, because of that 3-wide move that Owen Miles put on Luke Rainey, and I think it was Williams too was on the outside of that. He came back to finish second. Good grief! What were those final 7 laps?
And that restart set it all up, too. I don't think, if we didn't get the restart, I think Logan Williams may have been able to have a better shot at winning this race. When Williams came back there, almost got to him. And if there was one more lap, I think Williams would have won. But it's a 100-lap race, not a 101-lap race.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, take a look at the rest of the results right there. Obviously, so many things happened in this race. Dustin Davis, right at the beginning of the event, had a camshaft go bad on him. Then we had that big wreck between Baranauskas, Davey Johnson, Alpha B, Tall, and Hamill. Then Thomas Troxel, who I think, just think if Troxel was still in contention, I think he would have been the guy who was going to be up there to possibly win this race. But it didn't happen for Troxel. Then we had that massive accident between Chase Buck and Braden Perez. And then another massive accident between Nathan Smith, Matt Tuck, Barretto, Zidell, and Durrani. And then another accident with Max Anderson and presumably Brandon Nelson in the 77. But Ethan Lewis was never up front this entire race. That was the highest he was the entire race. He didn't lead a lap until the end. And he wasn't even really top 10 the entire day. And he avoided all the accidents. And with each restart, was able to kind of move his way a little bit further through the field. And then right when it counted, right when the opportunity presented itself for all those guys to make those moves for the race lead at the end, boom, perfect place, perfect time. That was more of a luck win for Ethan Lewis, I feel like, than it was skill. But who cares? He won. The Indianapolis 250 goes to Ethan Lewis in the number 12 here. What a win. What a race, as it always is here at the Brickyard. And, wow, the countdown is on for 2022. And yes, I said that there won't be any series next year. Regardless of what I decide on that, there will be an Indianapolis 250 next year. This is the best race that I do, hands down. Not even close. Thank you guys so much for watching. Final thoughts on this one, Josh. And 2 weeks from now, we head to Texas. What are you looking forward to in the season here in the Haas IndyCar Series? And how do you think it's going to play out with these guys? Because they're all very competitive, as we obviously saw here today. Who's your favorite to win the championship once we get to Pocono in September?
Well, I think we got to look at the big three from this race. We got to look at Christian Vargas, who was fast. Well, really, it's a big four. But Brandon Nelson was fast. Logan Williams was fast. Rainey was fast. Christian Vargas was fast. I know they didn't come out of here with the dub, but good grief. If they keep up that kind of speed, you got to look out for them for sure as being championship favorites here this season.
Absolutely, and we're just going to have to see. You got to remember, too, as these races go along, each race is going to have qualifying, and there will be 6 drivers who fail to qualify in each race this season. So we had 3 drivers fail to qualify this race, but now it's only going to be 30 starters in every race as we go on. It's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. But Ethan Lewis, he's going to leave Indianapolis the points leader, just as he wanted. And like I said, let me check here. I don't think he's ever won before. I could be wrong about that though. He may have won a race in the Dash Series last year. And I'm going to check it and see here, because I'm very curious if he has, in fact, won a race on an Napa Fan before. And I'm going to search his name up here and see if I can find it. One match, so he is not. That's his first career Napa Fan win, and it came in the Indianapolis 250. How about that for Ethan Lewis? Wow, what a way to get your first career win. And I know he's going to be pumped about that one. But hey, how about that one for Ethan Lewis? What a big win. And he's going to join the ranks of Samadio, Audra Baranauskas, Luke Rainey, Aaron Walpole, Max Neuwirth, Christian Master, winners of this great race. And I don't know. I mean, he was not up there. That is a lot like, that reminded me a lot of Walpole's win. When Walpole won this race in 2016, we had a late caution, and he was not anywhere near the front of the field, but at the end, got up to the front and essentially stole the win away right at the end of the race. That's exactly what Ethan Lewis did here today, just like Aaron Walpole did 5 years ago, I should say. 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years ago next year. But, hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Indy 250 Week was a success, as always. Absolutely loved this. And, like I said, obviously, like I said a couple of months ago, my love for NRL is not as much as it used to be. But I tell you what, there's something about Indy 250 Week that makes me love it even more. And, I don't know, my whole thought of not doing a series next year, I'm kind of rethinking that again because of this whole ordeal. I love this race. I love this series. And I love you guys, because you guys love what I do, and vice versa. And I'm so glad you're all here. God bless you all. You're wonderful people, and I'm so glad that I'm in this community with you guys, and I never intend to leave. I'll always be here in some capacity. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of Josh Williamson, have a great Memorial Day weekend tomorrow. It's the real life Indianapolis 500 and the Coke 600. I'm looking forward to that. Get that day back this year. Definitely looking forward to that. And I'll be recovering from my second COVID shot, so I actually took off for the race, and then it turns out that my second COVID shot was scheduled today. So it all worked out. So I'll be just doing nothing, watching those races tomorrow. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Ethan Lewis, your race winner in the 2021 NOFSRL Indianapolis 250. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks here for the Haas IndyCar Series from Texas. Should be a fun race as the season rolls on. Next weekend, we're at Chicagoland in the Turkey Hill National Series and NOFSRL Cup Series as their seasons continue on as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Ethan Lewis once again. Here are the points for the Haas IndyCar Series after the first race of the season. And I will see you guys later.